the 800 series routers. Do we have anyone who knows a router like that? 877, 871, 881. Do you know a small office, home office router like that? Do we have anyone? Okay. Yeah. I'll show you a picture of a router like that. That's what I am going to show you tonight. That is a Cisco 877. I always recommend a router like that for my students if you want to practice CCNA, CCNT. And by the way, can you text me and tell me, are you studying for CCNT? Are you CCNA certified? What's your career goal? Hello, cannot see any messages. Okay, not certified. CCNA certified. Working. Okay, that's good. I will start from scratch, so it should be okay for everybody. I have a document like that. If you're interested, I can share it with you. That is something I prepared for my students some time ago. It describes 800 series routers, and you will find information about these routers, how you can connect a router like that at home. They're really, really cheap on eBay, guys. You can get a router like that for 20, 30 pounds here in the UK, probably $20, $30 in the USA if you're over there. That's really, really cheap, and it's a great router. I'm going to show you how we can set it up and connect it to the internet. It's really, really easy. And that's our topology as well. Take a look. Let me zoom it in. Oh, come on. Okay. This router has a built-in switch. There are 4 ports, and F0 is connected to my main router. Any available port is okay. And then I took a laptop and I connected it to port F3. Okay, and the idea is to ping the internet from this laptop using our 800 series router. That's the idea. We'll see how it goes. I will take my time and make sure that you're okay with everything that I'm going to cover, and hope Andy is going to join me later on. And I'm pretty sure he prepared a very interesting lab for you. I will try and break a few things for you as well tonight and make a short troubleshooting section as well. Right. Is this topology okay? Are you okay with the idea and what we want to achieve? It's really important to understand. Okay, I can see okay, okay, yes, good. Let me change the font. Okay. Show IP interface brief. A very basic command. And my first question is, let's go back to our topology here. Can I assign an IP address under F0? What do you think? Can I assign an IP address? Because this interface is facing my router, and I would like to assign an IP address to it. Can I do it on a router with a built-in switch? What do you think? Yes or no? Okay, I can see a few answers. Yes, yes. Let's give it a try. I go under interface F0. Okay, it's available. And I want to give it 172.16.1.197. And I am going to get an error message like that. Why is that? The reason for that is, that's what I said, it's a router with a built-in switch. Not sure if you have reached to switching in your CCNT or CCNA studies. You should be aware that we cannot assign an IP address if this is a layer 2 link. How do we assign an IP address on a switch then? Let's imagine you have a layer 2 switch. How can I assign an IP address to it? Do you know? How can I give it an IP address? Yes, very good. Yeah, that's right. It's interface VLAN. And the same applies to our router. I cannot assign an IP address under F0. That's right, by creating a VLAN. Interface VLAN, to be more specific, that is a layer 3 interface. In my case, what I want to do, I want to use VLAN 2 for my outside network and VLAN 1 for my LAN. I am going to have 2 interfaces like that. We type interface VLAN 2. And here I am going to use this command. Do you know what am I going to achieve by using this command? I am going to get an IP address from, in a way, from my ISP or from my router that is over here. I could assign a static IP address, that's fine. In many cases it's not possible. I'm pretty sure you have a broadband connection at home. And do you have a static or dynamic IP address? Do you know? What do you have at home? A static or dynamic? Oh, static. Oh, you're lucky. I can see dynamic, 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 dynamic. That's right. Dynamic. Okay. Most people will have a dynamic IP address. It means it changes. Today it can be 81, tomorrow 75. That's why we can use a command IP address DHCP. It means my router will go to and ask for an IP address. I have to go under F0 and put it in VLAN 2. Switch port mode access, I'm pretty sure you know this command, make sure it's not a trunk, and switch port access VLAN 2. VLAN 1 and VLAN 2. It can take a while for VLAN 1 and VLAN 2. It can take up to 1 minute. We will have to wait and we should see an IP address on our outside interface. Does that make sense so far, guys? Is that all okay? Okay. I am going to deliver this webinar in a way I'm going to ask, take a look, that's what I received, an IP address. My next question is, whoops, just bear with me. Okay. My next question is, Everything that I have done so far, is it enough to ping the internet now? I received an IP address. I know it's a private IP address because it's connected to my router, but imagine it's a public IP address. It's to ping the internet now. What do you think? Do I need a static route, a default route, or is it enough to ping the internet now? What do you think? I can see it's enough. What about my default route? I have not specified a default route. When I type show run include IP route, there is no default route. Do we need a default route? Yes, 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 yes. We need a default route. However, when I type show IP route, you will see there is a default route. How is it possible? I have not set it up. This default route was received from my DHCP server as well. And the same applies to your home router. You do not specify a default route. It will be received from your ISP, or you can use your exit interface. That's fine. And in this case, that should be enough to ping the internet. I can ping the internet. I can ping 8888. What's 8888? Do you know? Who knows? Google DNS. Very good. Very good. What's OpenDNS? Do you know OpenDNS? That's another, oops. That's another IP address that I use. OpenDNS that I like. Okay, a default route. I can ping the internet. Now, inside network, show IP interface brief. I have F3 connected to my laptop. What I'm going to do, I'm going to assign an IP address to VLAN 1. F3 is in VLAN 1. And I'm going to use 771. My laptop that is connected to F3 has a static IP address 10772. Let's see if I can ping it. That's a good sign. I can ping it. Will I be able to telnet to this router straight away? Is telnet enabled by default? Will I be able to telnet to it? 10.7.7.2. 3.1. What do you think? Will I be able to telnet to it? Let's try. And that's what I will get. Password required, but none set. When we type show run section line VTI, you will see there is login and no password. How can we fix it? You can specify a password here, or what I like to do login local. And it means I am going to create a local database. Username admin, password Cisco. Privilege 15, it means go to the privileged mode straight away. Don't ask for enable password. It is a good idea to create enable password anyway. Let's test it now. Now it's better. and Cisco. Is it okay? Any questions? Anything you want me to explain, discuss, or are you okay with that? Okay. Okay so far. Good. Not too easy, not too difficult. Is it okay? Good. Let's try SSH now. Crypto key generate RSA. That's the command. I'm pretty sure you're studying towards CCNA. I'm pretty sure you have seen this command many times. And when I press enter, it's going to complain. There are two things that are required to generate the keys. It is a host name and a domain name. We have a host name, as you can see it's R1. We need a domain name. Domain name test.local. Why do we need that? Take a look. The name for the keys will be hostname.domain name. That's why my router complains if I try to generate the keys without these two things in place. Let's go for 1024. I remember on some old routers, when you tried to do 1024, it took about 2-3 minutes to generate the keys. As you can see on this router, it takes 5 seconds. Okay? Is it enough to SSH to my router now? Let's try. I will use PuTTY. New session. SSH 10.7.7.1. Admin Cisco. What if you want to say telnet is not an option? We want to use SSH only. There are places, a really secure environment, where that's what you want to do. You don't want to allow telnet. Do you know how to do that? How can you tell your router, please use SSH only? Do you know? I don't know. Okay, I'll show you. We go under line VTI. We have 4 lines only. And here you can specify transport input. If you say SSH, then it is SSH. If you say SSH telnet, then it's SSH telnet. Or you can use all. It's not recommended. You can include something that maybe you don't know what it does or something that might cause some problems. It's always a good idea to specify what you want to use. In our case, we want to use SSH. Show run section line VTI. And now you will see transport input SSH. It means use SSH. Okay. As you can see, I cannot telnet to this router anymore. If I want to allow both, I go here and I say SSH telnet. And I should be able to telnet to it again. Admin Cisco, I'm connected. Of course, it makes sense to use SSH, especially if you want to connect to a router over the internet. Never use telnet. In many devices, it's not even possible to use telnet on the outside interface. You have to use SSH or HTTPS. Okay, now I am going to break something on this router. I will not show you what. And then you can suggest some show commands and you will try and fix it. The idea is I can break telnet, SSH, or just to confirm, I can ping the internet from the router. Okay? Ready for a small challenge like that? Let me break it. Can you confirm you cannot, you can't see what I'm typing? I'm new to join me. Oh, cool. Let's start with something easy. Okay. Alright. It's easy to break, guys. It's not easy to fix. The problem is, I cannot ping the internet anymore. Please suggest a command, and I'll type it for you. What do you want me to show? Please suggest a show command. Traceroute. There you go. Whatever you want, guys. Please suggest a command and I will try and do that for you. Show interface, show route. Okay. Show interfaces. Let me do show route first. And I will do show IP interface brief. It will be easier to see. If you know what the problem is, please use the chat window and say what the problem is. I can tell you, you can see that on the screen now. VLAN 2 is down. That's correct. Why is it down? Very good. Anyone else? We'll give a few seconds. Take a look at this output. VLAN 2 is up, down. I can see 1, 2, 3 correct answers. Anyone else? The interface that I show you show VLAN and VLAN 2, we have port F0. And F0 I did shut down. How do we fix it? Interface F0, no shut. That will bring F0 up and it will bring our VLAN 2 up as well. And thanks to that, we should be able to ping the internet again. It can take a while. So. Okay, do you want me to break something else? Let's try something with telnet and SSH. Just to show you I can ping the internet now. No shut, that's right. Let me break something else now. Okay. Now, the problem is I cannot telnet to my router anymore. What do you suggest? What can I check? What show command? Please suggest and I will do that. That was easy. Line VTI. Can you see what the problem is? No telnet, only SSH. That's right. That's easy, but it's very easy to miss in the real world. Make sure that you check that. Okay, to fix it, line VTI, if I manage to spell it. SSH and telnet. Remember, every time you fix something, make sure you test it. Even if it sounds like a very, very obvious thing, make sure you go and test it. Do not say, oh yeah, it's transport input. No, make sure you test it. Make sure you log in, you're happy you are connected. Okay. And one more thing that I could break for you. Yes, I'm recording this webinar to answer a question and we will share it with you guys. We'll give you a link to download. Of course, if you want. Okay, I cannot ping the internet again. Please suggest show commands, troubleshooting commands, and we'll try and figure out what's wrong. Show IP interface brief. Here we are. Yeah, please feel free to suggest what you want me to do on this router. As long as you don't ask me to set up 2 VPN tunnels in 5 minutes, I'm okay to do any show commands you want. I can give you a tip. There is something wrong with this output that you can see on the screen now. Yeah, very good. Very, very good. What did I do? I can see one correct. Yeah, very good. VLAN 2 is a static IP. That's not a problem. Why? That's okay. It's a static IP address instead of DHCP. That's okay. Let's say I was allowed to use a static IP address in my network. That's okay. No default route. That's why there are two problems actually. Not sure if you noticed, but this IP address is not in the same range as this one. Oops. It was 172.16.1 and this one is 172.16.2. And of course, one answer here that is very good, no default route. No DHCP, no default route. When I type show IP route, I will anything here. There is no default route. It means I cannot access the internet. Let's fix it now. I have my default route. Okay, now one additional question. Have you seen a repeat command in ping? I can repeat that 500 times. What happened? Why did that stop after around 100 ping? And I'll show you something else. Now I will not be able to access the internet. Oh, it's working. Let me ping it again. It will block. Take a look, I cannot ping the internet at all. Why is it blocking my pings after around 50, 60, 80 pings? What's more, I will tell you, if I wait a few seconds, it will allow me to ping again. Very good. Probably not in CCNA, but it's pretty easy to figure out. I am connected to a firewall, and my firewall thinks it's a denial of service attack, ICMP attack. I am trying to send too many ICMP messages, and it says, we're under attack. No, you're not. Fortunately, this firewall is smart enough, and if you do not touch it for a few, I don't know, 2-3 minutes, if you leave it alone, it will allow you to access the internet again. That is on my CyberOwn firewall. I've got 2 firewalls here. My ASA is my edge firewall, and that's what I'm going to show you in a few minutes. And my second firewall is CyberOwn. And that's correct. That's a denial of service attack. Let's try and take a look. I can ping it now. It is okay if you try and ping 50 times. That's okay. And later on, it will recognize that as a DOS attack. A quick question. Are you interested in this document? I'll show you what's inside. What to buy, what's in the box, how to cable it, and then there is an example of a running config with explanation. The HTTP server, passwords, internet, and so on. If you're interested, I will, not sure if you know my email address, please drop me an email and I will email it to you. Let me put that on the screen. I do copy paste, I don't trust myself. Oh, I'm pretty sure there are some people from Andrew as well, so if you don't know my website, please drop me an email and I will forward this document for you. I don't want to share it all over the internet. It cost me a lot of time to prepare it, so please keep it for yourself. It's not a big secret, but still, it cost me a lot of time to prepare it, so it is for you guys, okay? Do you have any questions? Anything else that you want me to cover, show, answer? If not, I will show you my ASA firewall for a few minutes. If you have anything else or a question to ask, please feel free to suggest. Any questions? Anything you want to ask? If not, I am going to connect to my ASA firewall and show you a few things. Okay. Have you worked with ASA firewalls before? Do you know anything about firewalls? No. A few words about firewalls in general. Of course, that is Cisco training, so we will talk about ASA firewalls. And that is not true. There are a lot of good firewalls. Of course, ASA is a really, really good and a very reliable firewall. And the idea is the same. Why do you want to have a firewall? What's the reason? Can you think of a good reason to have a firewall in your network? What's the main reason? If you think about a firewall in general. That's right. To protect from outside security. To prevent unwanted traffic. Very good. All these answers are correct. Control incoming and outgoing. Very good. What most people think, let me show you a picture. Okay. That's what we think a firewall is. We have LAN and WAN, the internet and our local area network. And there is a firewall that is designed to protect our local area network. However, a firewall, that's what I can see here someone suggested, can also decide what our LAN users are allowed to do on the internet. I am not allowed to do that anymore because my fiancé would kill me. I played with my firewall and I said, well, you can use Facebook on Sunday between 9 and 9:30 p.m. That's what you can do on a layer 7 firewall. It means it allows you to implement more sophisticated features, not only decide and protect your home network. Also prevents from inside attacks. Yeah, that's right. ASA firewalls, that's what our main focus is. This is a very good firewall. It's not cheap, but it's really good. If you want to play with ASAs, I recommend starting with an ASA 5505. I'll show you a firewall like that. Here we go. That's the firewall. As you can see, it has a built-in switch. I can see a question, how much is it? If you want to buy a brand new one, it is around £300. I'm in the UK, so I will say in pounds, £300 with a base license. If you want a Security Plus license, it is around £700. A used one on eBay, it is around £150. Around $200. Used one. This is a firewall that has been on the market for many, many years. And the good thing about this firewall is not only that it has a built-in switch, but there are two PoE ports, power over Ethernet. It means we can connect an IP phone or an access point to it, or an IP camera. What's your opinion from a hardware firewall like ASA and a software-based firewall hosted in a VM environment? My opinion is, in a few years, I don't think I'm going to live that long. In 20, 15 years, everything will be based on a VM infrastructure. I think everything will be virtualized. Not sure if you heard, but Cisco introduced a VM router as well. Everything is going to be implemented that way. Today, I'm old, I'm 35, and I prefer a hardware firewall. ASA 5005, we have a switch built in, a console port, and here is a slot for a module. You can add an IPS module here. And it's really funny, this firewall, I remember when I bought it, I paid £250 for it, and guess how much Cisco wanted to charge me for an IPS module. Firewall itself was £250, let's say $350. Try and guess, how much would you charge for an additional module to a firewall? Try and guess. Firewall, $350. How much would you charge for a module? I can see a lot of people are aware of it. Yeah, unfortunately, it was around $1,800. It's crazy. Yes, I know. Wow, yeah, I know it's crazy. And that's why, sorry Cisco, I wanted to play with IPS and I decided to go for something else. It is really, really expensive, and it's not enough to have a module like that. You need a support contract from Cisco to get the latest signatures. IPS, intrusion prevention system, is useless if you don't get the latest signatures. Tomorrow, someone can discover a new, I don't know, a new issue in an RDP protocol, remote desktop protocol, and Cisco will create a new signature for it, and if you don't get an update, your IPS is useless. And I remember the support contract was £300 a year. Crazy, 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 crazy. Of course, the main reason for that is IPS is not designed for a home network. Don't ask why. I have a rack at home. I have a full rack at home. Do you want to see the picture? I think I have it somewhere. Let me show it to you. Let me check if I find it. Here we go. That's my rack. And here we go. And it is not my lab. It is my network. Yes, I know. I know. Insane, hardcore, nice. I hope you say cabling is nice. It's not perfect. However, it's not bad. I didn't have time. This cable here, take a look when it goes. That I'll tell you what's inside. This is my voice router. I'm not a voice engineer. I wanted to play with voice, so I asked my friend and he helped me set up a router, a voice router. Then I have two micro servers. Not sure if you've heard about these boxes. Really nice, pretty cheap. I used to be a Microsoft engineer. That's why I like to have, I want to have a Microsoft server at home. Then two firewalls, two core switches, and two access layer switches. Again, sorry Cisco, it's not Cisco, it's HP. And you can say, well, it's a lot. It's not expensive. I try, you know, I'm not a rich guy. I try to keep it. This router, it's a 2801. These boxes, there's a cashback offer from HP, £100 each, 35.50. You can get it really, really cheap. And I will show you my network diagram. That is my topology. And that is my ASA here. I think in 2 or 3 weeks, I will schedule a webinar and describe my topology and how I designed my network with core switches, and I have 2 firewalls, 2 ISPs, and a failover setup. We can do a failover test as well. Okay. Let's go back to our ASA. Show you the front. That's, I don't know, it's green on green. You can't see any lights on it. If it's dark, it's okay, but it's Cisco. Their design is not perfect, but it is a very, very solid firewall. Okay, let me show you a few things on the ASA. So we know what a firewall is, and the good thing about ASAs is that you can manage that using this tool that is called ASDM. As you probably know, when you want to, if you want to set up a router or a switch, you use the CLI, you use telnet, you SSH, or you use a console cable. There is a web interface, Cisco Configuration Professional and so on. It's not good. Not sure if you agree with me. It's not good. On the other hand, ASDM for an ASA firewall is really, really good. I've been working with ASA for more than 4 years now, and I have managed most of my firewalls using this tool, which is great. You have to know the CLI, which is very, very similar to a Cisco router. If you know, if you're CCNA certified, you go to ASA, you will struggle for a few hours, and then you will say, I don't know, they changed a lot of things. For instance, show IP root is show root. They changed a lot of show commands, and they tweaked the configuration options. Anyway, it is not a big deal. You can learn the CLI. In a few days, you should be able to Google and find everything. Again, a good thing is you can use ASDM. As you can see, it's divided into 3 main sections: home, configuration, and monitoring. Let's look at the first screen. That's home. A lot of companies and vendors, that's a dashboard, and here is as well a dashboard. Here is a few lines about my firewall. Device uptime, it's not bad, 58 days. ASA 5045 and rooted. ASA version, that's the code that I'm running, and ASDM, that's the software that I'm using here. And status, traffic, and in kilobytes per second, and here connections per second. If you connect to a firewall, you will see something is wrong straight away. Let's say it is here 2500 kilobits per second. It's not good. CPU, memory, basic information that you can see, inside and outside interface. And you can see my private and public IP address. I have a dynamic IP address as well. Configuration, it is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main sections. Device setup, firewall, 2 VPNs, and device management. I show you my interfaces. It's pretty easy. We have to be careful. That's my live firewall. I don't want to break anything. Static routes. I show you, I will try and add a new static route to show you how it looks like. Very, very easy. As you can see, you don't have to use the CLI. You specify which network you want to go for what is your gateway here, and some options if you want to use them. Really, really easy. Monitoring, which is really great, there is a live log viewer, which is awesome. I wish we had a tool like that on a router. I know we can use NetFlow and SNMP. It's not the same. This tool is built into ASA and ASDM. Of course, I'm not using IPv6. I hope I manage to retire before it goes live. I hate IPv6. Not sure if you agree with me. Why? That's a long story. I think designing IPv6 in a way that it was done and making it so complicated and not backwards compatible will pay a big price for it. I have been involved in many projects in big companies, and I can't even imagine moving these networks into IPv6. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Why? Because we want to have 25 new public IP addresses. I'm not sure. I'm not good enough to question that. I read online a few posts and people who are more experienced than I am, and they suggested a few solutions that could be backwards compatible with IPv4, and we would be okay for at least 25 years. That's my view on IPv6. I know a lot of people don't agree with me and they say IPv6 is the best thing ever. Fair enough, I think, and when you look at the number of companies and people trying to implement IPv6, you will see it's a very, very slow process. Okay, going back to my ASA, let's look at, you can filter it, let's look at my server. That's my server, and I am looking at, let's try 21, that's better. And you can see everything going, that's source, that's destination. Destination, source. And I can see a detailed description showing me what my firewall is doing. You don't have to know a lot about firewalls to see this and understand this line. I am creating a TCP connection where it is coming from 172.16.1.21, and I'm going to this IP address. What is my source port? What is the destination? What's port 80? Come on, I expect to see all answers in 3 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Too slow, too slow. HTTP, good. Okay. My destination port is 80. And you can be very specific with your real-time log viewer. You can specify destination port, source port, and IP addresses. Example, I want to see who's browsing the internet now. I can use destination port 80. And I can apply, and then I see all TCP sessions that have been established in the X number of minutes on port 80. It's like having Wireshark on a firewall. Do you know Wireshark? An application that can capture packets? It is much easier to understand and troubleshoot when you have a tool like that available for you straight away. If you don't know Wireshark, that should be your homework. Please Google it, download it. You can do that on your home PC. You don't need a Cisco device to do that. That's Wireshark. I will not enable it. I know it should not cause any issues. However, I don't trust it. And you can capture some packets. Even if you're studying for CCENT, that is a good idea to have Wireshark, and it will help you understand the OSI model. You can see all layers, frames, packets, TCP, layer 7, and all you have to do is download it, run it on your PC, and capture some packets and frames. Okay, any questions, anything you want to ask? Okay, now I have a question. Do you like subnetting? We have a few more minutes. Do you like subnetting? Are you good? Subnetting. I can see, I think a few people studying for CCNT, CCNA. Okay. I will have a question for you. Let's start with something simple and see how it goes. .6. I have an IP address like that. 192.168.7.6/29. And I am going to ask, what is the broadcast address for this subnet? Do you know how to do that? That's right. Find the octets of interest. I need an answer. If you want to, a side note, if you want to go for a CCNT or a CCNA exam, you have to give me an answer in less than 3 seconds. Sorry guys, but that's how it is. I think I saw 1 or 2 CCNA certified guys here, and I'm pretty sure they can confirm that subnetting is a must for your CCNA exam. A lot of questions on your exam, you will have to do subnetting to answer the main question. Just to give you an example, a router, a PC, we'll fix my tablet. Screen 2. Not sure why it changes. Okay, now it's better. And now they are going to give you an IP address, 10.10.7.11/29, and they will tell you 10.10.11.5/29. And the question is, I cannot ping my default gateway. One will be, let's say answer B, will be, these two IP addresses are not on the same subnet. And that is one of your options. And you have to be able to rule it out straight away or confirm, yes, that's the problem. 5 or 6 answers, and one of them might be interface is shut down. And then you have to check if that's true. Another option might be there is an access list, apply, whatever. And yes, I can see a few people surprised. Wow, 3 seconds, yes. I'm not sure, it is very difficult for me to show you subnetting now because I don't know how good you are. I can see one good answer, yeah. And if you're interested, again, I gave you my email address. Please drop me an email if you have any ideas. I'm very happy to arrange a webinar and explain subnetting if you want. I think I I know how to explain it, and that should be okay. If you need anything, let me to cover this example, and we'll see how it goes. So let's start with /29. What does it mean? 29. That is our subnet mask, and it means 29 ones in our subnet mask. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is it correct? Is it okay? 29 ones. I'm pretty sure you're aware of this binary table. You should have that on your screen or on a piece of paper. No, that's not 240. That was close, but not close enough. 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. If you're interested, that is 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2. No, not 255. This is 255, yes, that's 255 dot 255 dot 255 dot. What's the last one? I can see one good answer, correct answer, 248. How do I know that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8. That will give you 248. Okay? We know /29, it is 8, 8, 8, and 5 ones here. The last bit in your subnet mask is your increment. Again, we go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 8. 8 is your increment. It means 192.168.7.0. We start with 0. 192.168.7.8. 192.168.7.16. What's the next one? 192.168.7. Not 32? 24. I asked this question. Be very careful. Remember, your increment is 8. 16, then it's 24, then it's 32. Yeah? Be very careful. It's very easy to make a mistake. What's the last IP address in the first range? 192.168.7.7. That is our broadcast address. This is our network address. 192.168.7.15.23. Okay? When we look back here, 192.168.7.6, we can see it is in the first range. Okay, I can see someone suggested a link. Let's take a look. Okay, nice. Yes, thank you for that. I'm pretty sure people can use that. Let me copy the link. I have not seen this website before, so that's good. That's the link if you want to take a note. Okay, new problem. 10.10.10.629. Oh, okay, it will generate a probe. Okay, and then you can check. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. A very nice website. Thank you. You can use that. I know one of my students. He showed me an application on an iPhone, and he to master subnetting in 2 or 3 weeks, you can look for an application like that as well. As long as you keep practicing, then it's okay. A very similar problem to our discussion, as you can see, /29. If you're interested, let me know and I can discuss subnetting in details in one of our next webinars. That's absolutely fine. Okay. Okay, guys, any questions, anything you want to ask? I think we have covered a lot tonight. Basic router configuration, ASA, introduction, and a few answers. And I added subnetting. I always like to do subnetting. I know people struggle with subnetting. That's why I always like to give 1 or 2 examples. Okay, please feel free to ask any questions. Thank you very much for joining.